Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Subject is corporate governance and social responsibility. And today topic is on business ethics. This is first lecture on business ethics. Topic to be discussed in today's lecture is what is ethics? The concept of business ethics, evolution of corporate ethics will also be discussed, specifically in the context of India and Pakistan. How to enforce what is right means how to enforce ethics in a company, need and importance of the ethics, why ethics is important, why it is needed by the company. Third, what are the characteristics of ethical organization? What is ethics? Ethics is basically doing something that have three property. If you are doing a right thing in a right way for a right reason. Now we will discuss these three factors of the definition one by one. What is right way? What is right? It may different from country to country. What is right in Pakistan may not right be in United States. Even the concept is different from one company to another company. But even it is what is right differ from person to person as well. Person to person may differ this concept of right. One thing may be right for one person, it may not be right for the other person. So there are certain norms. Again, we can say that although it differ from one country to another, from one company to another, from one person to another, but there are certain norms which are acceptable globally as being representative of right things. So if someone adhere to this right thing or universal norms is a first step towards ethics. Let me give you an example here that if let's suppose you decided today that 1% of my salary I will donate 1% of my salary. So donation is not a bad thing. It is universally acceptable that donation is right thing. And almost in every society, donations to a noble cause, to the poor people, is acceptable. It is universal norms. So it is decided that 1% of your salary and donation is right thing. Now what is right way? It is not just a legal way, maybe something legal but not right, not a shortcut way that you feel convenient and opt for the shortcut way, not convenient way but appropriate way for the right thing to do. Now let us just extend this example of 1% of salary. Say let's suppose your 1% of salary is 5,000 rupees and you wrap it up in an envelope, then throw it somewhere in the way or somewhere in a street that any needy person will pick it up and will consume it. But this is not right way, because it is the possibility that it may be picked by some person who are not really needy. So you avoid that way, not to throw it in a way. You sign a check and send it to any social welfare organization or any NGO or any orphan home. But study shows that all these organizations are not efficient in consuming, are not honest in consuming these donations. So you do not use the shortcut way or convenient way for giving your donation to or sending your donation to any social welfare organizations. Now you search for needy person in your surrounding, search for needy person in your relative, search for needy person in your work environment, search for needy person in your student, and you find that there is a person who in dire need to pay a fee and don't have the money. You pay that 5,000 to him. This is basically what appropriate way that you are doing a right thing in a right way. Now again, the third factor, is it a right reason that you are giving this 5,000 money? It is just for promotion or really for good reason? Means if you are giving 1% of your salary is a donation to the person just to promote yourself, that somebody is in university is very good guy to donate money to the student to pay their fee, or you are going really for a good reason to promote education. Similarly, doing for recognition in social circle is self-promotion. That is not a right reason. Doing good to promote public image is not a right reason. Right reason is to achieve the underlying cause of the right thing. For example, if you give 1% to a student, but the reason is that you are going to promote education and try that nobody remain deprived of education due to financial problem. So the right way, right thing in a right way for a right reason is called ethical. Concept of business ethics. So companies are also operating in a society. They are member of the society. They draw their revenue and get HR resources from the society. They dispose their waste in the society. They depend in their society even for their existence like individual. So the business will be influenced from the ethics of the prevailing surrounding and society. So in order to discuss the corporate ethics, we have to focus on the four functions: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Since we discussed the three dimensions of the ethics, doing right things in right way for a right reason. When we embed these three things in these functions, it's almost become the practices of the company become ethical. For example, What is planning and leading? This is basically to develop a strategy, policies, planning, etc. If we are planning to do the right thing, they do not harm employee, they do not harm society, that what we plan do not harm any stakeholder, do not pollute environment. So this is basically what we are doing. We are embedding doing right thing and planning and leading function of the management. Second thing, in right way, arrangement of resources. Deployment of resources is basically organizing, and implementation of these strategies is called organizing. Should be based on right way. See, this is the right way is basically when we are using the resources of the company efficiently. We do not pollute the environment during our production processes. We do not we do not compromise on any quality of the products. So all these way we are embedding the right way in our organizing function. Controlling is basically when there is something something going wrong, and we correct it. We called the corrective action are called controlling. So ensuring that the strategy and policy are being followed in correct way or not. There should be a strong dose in control, a dose of ethics in controlling. Why? It should be based on for right reason. For example, if the company policies are being followed but not for a right reason, so it should not be encouraged. It should be encouraged when we are going to follow, ensuring that the company policies are followed in a right way and for a right reasons. Evolution of corporate ethics. There are two terms that are used in this terminology. One is called business and other is called ethics. Historically, these were moving with 180-degree different. One was moving in this way, other was moving in this way. Business, in history, business have almost always negative image. Why this negative image emerge for businessmen and businesses? Because the businessmen were generally portrayed as villain, greedy person, devoid from human decencies. They just earn profit. The only thing that the businessmen know is what he know. He just knows profit. So this image not emerge accidentally, but businessmen contributed over a century to this specific image of the that emerges a greedy person. So due to ruthless persuasion of profit, the image still prevail in developing nations. And developed nations, with the passage of time, company realizes that being an ethical is beneficial in their long-term perspective. So long-term existing is only possible if the company is ethical in its operations. While now come to the second terms, ethics. Ethics has roots in religion. Prophet, peace be upon him, was also a businessman. but he sit and follow a very high moral standard, even in conducting a business or in daily life. So it is not the same as happen in the history. So business and high ethical values go side by side as well. They are not mutually exclusive. Now come to the Pakistan in India history. Pakistan carved out of India is a Muslim state, and Pakistani are honest as individual. They follow their religion. They even give donations. They give charity. They pay zakat. They offer prayers. They observe fasting. But when it comes to the desire of the Prophet, they bypass everything. Even they evade or avoid taxes. So this is one of the dilemma that prevail in our country. Now come to India. Hindu followed a caste system, and businessmen were 30-year human beings after Brahmin that have a duty of a religion, while caste 3, which is called the soldiers. So the businessmen were in 30 year of human being. So arrangement of this society did not provide motivation to the businessman to become ethical. Ethics was a business of the Brahman. So Brahman and ethics were basically considered as interchangeably. So these 30 year of human beings were not motivated to become ethical in their business. Now, businessmen realize that doing a right thing enhances the profit. This is basically in today life. If you are doing a right thing, it will enhance your profit in a longer terms. Even in a street economy, an honest shopkeeper have high turnover because of their honesty in quality as well as in prices, irrespective of his location. Doing right thing in right way is easier than doing a wrong thing. For one wrong thing you will follow or do 10 other wrong things. Doing wrong things prove expensive later on because your company may be sued, maybe go into litigation, even may go bankrupt due to unethical practices. In history, this improvement in ethical behavior of the corporations is observed during the last 50 years. Second thing that contribute to ethical behavior of the corporation are corporate scandals. Bhopal leakage in India, Enron in USA, and Mirror Group in UK. These few scandal who compel the regulator to impose stricter law and tougher code in order to protect the companies from such type of unethical practices in future. How to enforce what is right? There are three things, three ways to enforce the ethics in a society. One is law, second is industrial code, and third is internal code. What is law? And developing country law ensuring the companies to behave ethically, responsible companies. If someone want any business to do particular act, make law for it. For example, when it was advised from ACCP to have formal audit committee and submit periodical reports, companies did not pay attention to it. But when it became a listing regulation of stock exchanges, then all of a sudden all companies had formal audit committees on their board and submitted their report very frequently. Despite of all power and good intention, law has its own problem and issues. The people who are unwilling to follow the law, they will follow the law in words, not in spirit. For example, we will extend the same example that there are formal audit committee, but it is very rare that audit committee in Pakistan is work is an independent audit committee. So law does not create honesty as ethics relate to behavior, and law cannot change or law cannot induced behavior. Law cannot compel people, let's suppose, to donate. So law have its own benefit, but law have its own limitations. So there are other ways are used to enforce what is right. It means what is ethical. Industrial code are of lesser power than law to enforce ethics, but it is an effective tool to enforce what is right in the corporate sector. For example, some code are issued, let's suppose, by Institute of Chartered Accountant, Pakistan Engineering Council, and PMDC, etc. So these code are followed by the member bodies or the colleges or other organizations who are registered with it. Construction companies are followed the code of engineering council. Similarly, all hospitals should follow the code of PMDC. Chartered accountant firm should follow the code of professional guideline of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of Pakistan. ICAP member are required to follow the professional standard in auditing of any firm. So if the professional standard are not made by the company who are auditing by the any chartered accountant, he will not sign a report. All Pakistan Textile Mill Association require member textile mill to follow the code of conduct. There is internal code. What is internal code? Internal code prepared and enforced by the board, such as code of conduct, statement of value. Internal code are more efficient than the law to make the company behave ethically. Need and importance. It improves public image and reputation of the company. When the company follow ethics and have ethical conduct, it also infuses the same honesty and implies and reduce the chances of fraud and cheating inside the company. The company who are following ethical standard practices also attract and retain better human resources. For example, if you ask a university graduate that he would opt to have job in MNCs or at any local company, so he will opt for MNCs because MNCs follows ethical standard practices in human resource and in their conduct of the business. Second importance is that ethical company gain capital on attractive rate. Research shows that the companies who follow ethical standards have lower cost of capital. So why a lower cost of capital? Because the the lender feel comfortable in lending their money to the company who is ethically responsible. Ethically run companies contribute to the betterment of the society. For example, if a company is ethically responsible, it will use auto biodegraded package material, which will not problem in sanitations or problem in garbage in the society. The last one is that ethical conduct of the business keep every stakeholder happy. Every stakeholder means management, employees, supplier, society, government, and other person who seems to be a stakeholder. Characteristic of ethical company. What are the what characteristic should we seek in ethical organization? First of all, the company have formal written code of ethics, code of integrity, policies, and it should be enforced on management and employees. The company have frequent interaction with all stakeholders and be very transparent in its conduct of business. They should report everything to their stakeholder and shareholders. The ethical company or ethical organization should be fair in dealing with everyone. Managers take responsibility to follow ethical practices. So employees see their activities with the lens of noble purpose, not just to fulfill the formality. Management style should not be bureaucratic. The management, it should be participative management and invite suggestion from lower employee as well in their budget in setting objectives. So this is the characteristic of the ethical organization. Thank you.